There are three things that you always negotiate.
And if you're sulking, saying that, I don't know how to do it, my manager is going to do this, that, and stuff, trust me, the chances of you getting those 10 sales is less.
Any person who has a target, most salespeople go through, is that they are generally not able to consistently achieve these numbers.
If you're a salesperson, tell yourself that you're an entrepreneur, you're not an employee. Because if you're an employee, you will see the pain. You will complain about the manager. Have that entrepreneur mindset. At Fresh Out, only thing that we want to tell people, a salesperson can never be an employee. If you're an employee, you can't be a salesperson.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of Fresh Out's The Sold Out podcast. In this podcast, we're going to discuss about numbers. I mean, big numbers. I am your host Rahul, and we have
Karthik.
and also we have
SSR.
in the house. Since we are talking about numbers, I just want to start off with SSR. Like in your career, what's the biggest sale that you've ever done? And if you can share the number as well, that'll be great.
Oh, I am an architect. So I am in a position where I get to control the overall project cost. Okay. So when I convince a client,
As in, like, tell me the step-by-step process.
so he wants to do a building, comes to me, he's my client. I say, okay, I'll do it. He pays me 10 lakhs for as a design fee. So that's the primary sale that I've done. But as an architect, just like a movie director, I command the entire 2 crore to 5 crore that he's going to spend for the money. So when I convert a project, so it's a 5 crore project which I converted. Just the way that you tell for a movie director. Like Atlee did a movie which was 1,000 crores. He gets tagged. The same way, the fee that I converted is a primary thing, but I've done projects which are more than 1,000 crores the last 11 years alone in Chennai. The first thing is the fee I get, the construction cost I get, and I have real estate clients, right? When I do real estate projects, let's say I do 10 apartments, I do the layout in such a way, the sale of that apartment is facilitated. I'm a marketer, visual marketer. Right from Vastu, parking, the aesthetics part of it, the functionality, the ventilation, the daylighting. So when I'm working to a real estate client, I work for him not just in the design, but I want him to sell it off as good as possible. So I am an extended salesperson, though I'm an architect, for that thing. If you put everything together, 3 months back I spoke in one stage. I told that I've done 400 crores of business. I was talking about Lokesh Kanagaraj. I told 400 crores. And then someone was asking me in the networking session, like, how did you arrive at it? So I give him this answer that my fee, the construction cost, because I dictate it, and the sales that happens through the real estate, I am responsible for the sale. I make a vast mistake, you cannot sell anything, right? And I have to sometimes convince the clients themselves who will be pioneers in real estate to sell it. So I have done, the project value that I've handled is more than 1,000 crores. Yeah. And I was assuming that I did only 400 crores. So someone, during the networking, they were asking me, like, how do you come up with? So I told my fee and the secondary fee. That person told me, so if you do a project and because of your design, that project gets sold, the project value, your client is going to say, it's a 100 crore project for me.
Yeah.
He is not going to say it's a 10 crore construction project. He is going to say it's a 100 crore project. So in that sense, I'm saying I've done sales for projects which are worth more than 1,000 crores.
Yeah. So you basically take care of right from design to
I design, I do the detailing, I kind of help the clients in choosing the right contractors, ensure that they do the construction properly, and till the end, even choosing the materials, your AC, your light, everything. So that's why I say I'm a director.
Right.
So I get to choose my players and everything, and not everyone can do it. I'm a really nice architect, good architect, and I have the experience. So younger people, it will take time to do it, or even if you're old and you're not doing it, you're not that good an architect.
Right.
That's it. The real estate clients, see, they know numbers. They know numbers better than us. Real estate clients, they themselves, most of them are good salesmen, right? So when they come to us, to convince a real estate client on the design part, who knows what sells there, because it's directly affecting them, I have convinced a lot of people to do a lot of things. See, for example, I'll tell you one thing. In any building you go, you have a lift and a staircase. Lift surrounding a staircase. In our building, you have a lift and a staircase opposite to it. Sometimes you will have a lift and a staircase adjacent to each other. So it's a different configuration, you can have it. I was arguing with one client. He told he wants the lift surrounding the staircase because he thought that was efficient. Now this is a client who's been in the industry for 20 years or plus. I argued with him saying you are going to lose out on money, and then I actually proved it. When you have a lift and staircase next to each other, you have 3 walls, 9 inches, which is like 13 feet length. It's 10 square feet. For 5 floors, 50 square feet, 10,000 rupee into 50 square feet is huge number, right? I was able to convince him, and then I sold the idea that you have to have it, and then behind the lift, when you have a lift and a staircase, behind the lift, a lift is a smaller size, staircase is longer. Behind the lift, you have an empty pocket created. I told you can have a toilet there. And lift doesn't need a window. A staircase needs a window. A lift doesn't need it. My fee for the project was not even 5 lakhs. I'm talking about 7 years back.
Right.
So that was sale, and because of that, he was able to increase it, right? So if you add everything, 1,000, and these are things that I do.
Yeah. Karthik?
Right. So I'm not as lucky as SSR here because people only buy the product that I sell.
No, you realize that people who know both of us are going to watch this.
I know. But I'm definitely not as lucky as him, where he gets to decide what to sell and people actually take his word. In my line of work, it's been pretty straightforward in the sense that I've done a lot of sales in different industries, different markets. Running an F&B restaurant is also sales. You're actually getting people in, and then you're making money out of it. That you're convincing the customers. So that is a different kind of a thing altogether. And then there are standard, straightforward capital equipment sales that I've done. I'm in the entertainment industry. I'm in the other capital equipment goods, and that we work with retail stores, we work with industrial stores and industrial factories and so on. Definitely look at over the past, let's say 12, 13 years. It's not just
one day thing.
It's not a 1 year thing, right? Because every sale is different because all the different businesses that I've been associated with, where I have done sales, where I've headed the sales department, where I've been solely responsible for sales, they fall into different categories. And as I said earlier, I'm not as lucky as SSR, where people blindly trust my words and buy everything what I say.
I have an answer for that.
Of course, it's not just selling products that I'm I would say proud of. We've kind of valued businesses. We've gone into valuation. We're getting investors on board. That is also selling.
Yeah.
So a lot of things do add up here. And one peculiar sale that I remember, probably about 10 years ago. I think in the last episode that we were talking about, I mentioned about quick response to the client, especially when the client is a very, very complicated person who's also quite what SSR was saying. He had to convince somebody who is also in the market, who also knows what he is talking, right? So I had a similar kind of experience. I had to travel to this place called Raipur. It was an overnight, decision to go and meet one client. And one thing that I'm very proud of, and I learned a lot during that small 3-4 day period, was that for the first 3-4, I was there for 3 days, I think, if I remember correctly, 3 nights and 4 days. We never spoke business. We never spoke about the order. We never spoke about what. We spoke about everything else under, everything else really. We were talking about our likes, dislikes, family. How his son was struggling with alcohol addiction, and there are a lot of things that we spoke, and it was a complete mix of everything but business. And sometimes this is something that I'm very proud of. I would say it's a very special sale for me, and it kind of gave a lot of perspective into what I could do, right? This is again I would say one of those turning points where I was able to do this without anybody else's help, where I said, okay, come on, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm liking doing this. And 3 days later, just when I was about to leave, the client actually understands that I'm going to leave. My flight is in the next half an hour, 1 hour, whatever I have to leave. And that's when he starts speaking business, right? So he was under the impression that, when I'm under pressure to leave, I will agree to whatever he said. But that has always been something that in my mind, I've decided never to do.
Yeah.
So the moment I realized he wanted to speak business just because I was about to leave, I called up my travel agent. I told him to cancel the flight and put me on the next flight on the same day. So that gave me time. So I was able to take away that advantage and sit down and do business in my terms. Because I've always felt that there have been many times, many of the salespeople that are even watching this, I will say that they might have done a sale and kind of regretted it later, because they would have done it just because they wanted to do it, or they were under pressure to take that order, either from their bosses or from whatever. But then they would have regretted because they wouldn't have gotten the terms that they wanted.
Right.
Because I call it the sales triangle. There are three things that you always negotiate. One is the price, one is the payment terms, and the third one is the delivery time. The delivery time really doesn't work for standard products like selling this phone, because the phone is already ready.
Yeah.
I'm just selling it to you. But any other product, these are the three things that you always talk about. Most often than not, what I would always tell any salesperson is, you should hold at least two sides of the triangle and let the third one be handled by the client.
Price, terms, and
right. So the three things are price, payment terms, and delivery time. So these are the three main things
After the client agrees.
Right. So let's say you are the client, and I'm going to sell you something, and it's like a capital equipment or whatever, and then you are like, okay, Karthik, I'm okay with buying this product, but you're quoting me, let's say 1 crore rupees, but I'm looking at a 20% discount, which means that you're sticking on to the price, which means that 20% or 80 lakhs is the number that you are willing to pay.
Yeah.
At that time, if I am very desperate, many people, as I said, if the things that we regret is we take the sale because we want the sale. And that is something that I would never do. Unless, if I agree to your price, I should at least have these two things under my control. One is payment terms, the other one is delivery time.
Yeah.
So if I am able to get 100% advance, right? If I am giving you a 20% discount, I ask for 100% advance in one go along with my purchase order, and I take a longer lead time, I am okay with a lower price. Because I know I can use this money to buy my raw materials in cash and save money there and pass on the benefit to you.
Exactly.
Right? So this is something that we always do. So keeping hold of at least two is when you don't regret.
Yeah.
But if you hold only one, you will end up regretting. And sometimes it so happens that, we've all gone through that. It's like, you just take the order because there is no other go. Maybe your company has a lot of stocks, maybe your of material that has to move, your boss is under a lot of pressure, he is putting that pressure on you, and then you have to sell. So this happens with a lot of salespeople. And I'm sure many of the people who are watching this, they will also agree that this is something that everybody has done, regretting a sale.
Right.
And you will never regret a sale if you follow the sales triangle and hold at least two ends.
The three things that you told, right? In service industry, like I come from a service industry. So once the sale is done, I have to meet the client and get it delivered in like 12 months or 18 months or sometimes 2 years, sometimes 3 years. The project duration is very long. One thing, what you said is right, three things. For me, delivery time is a non-negotiable because I'm an architect. I need 1 month to deliver a design concept, everything, and if he wants it in like 5 days time, I cannot do it because it's not a ready-made product. Okay, so this is for the service people because they should not get confused. That's why I want to clarify. The second thing is another non-negotiable I have as a service person is payment terms. Price is negotiable for me to a certain limit. Like if you said everybody wants to negotiate and we have to give it. Payment terms again, I have a bandwidth. I won't say that I won't negotiate at all, but there's a certain thing. Like someone says that you do this and then pay the advance. No, we negotiate the advance. I say ask for 25, you say 20. The last payment after the work is done, I want 5%, you can say no, 10 irukattum. That is fine for me. But saying that, after completion, you have to wait for 6 months or 1 year to check if the building is functioning properly. I'm like, that's a no. I won't change the payment terms, those things. Price you can negotiate, and anyways, someone is giving very less, I'm not going to do that. But timeline in a service industry, specifically when it involves creativity and the finesse is what they pay for, right? There we can't negotiate. But that was one important thing, because sometimes I get stuck between which is important, non-architectural sales. So
See, here
what you
also-
said is holding at least, if you're holding at least 2, then go ahead with it. That's one important point that you're.
See, here also I would say, when it comes to the service industry, especially we are talking about architectural designs, I understand that you may not be able to do the complete design of what a client wants overnight.
Yeah.
But then if it is so important for the client that they need something for tomorrow, let's say they have a big investor meet and they need this then and there, which means you are going to have to burn the midnight oil, work 24 hours through the night, whatever, and give them something. I think you should be fairly compensated for that, because when you are doing this to satisfy the client by working overnight and stopping everything else to do this work for them, I think you should be compensated in a better way when it comes to price. Because if the client is also going to ask for rock bottom price and ask you to work overnight and get this thing, it just doesn't make sense. You will end up regretting.
Yeah.
Instead, if they say, okay, I will double your payment, do it overnight, at least at the end of the night, you're going to be like, okay, I did this, I made more money, okay, I'm happy, right? I mean, so that is what I'm trying to say. This happens in every industry, and the three things can vary. See, where I gave the example of capital equipment and selling of manufactured products, you talked about service industry and everything. You may talk about content creation and everything. See, even if in the digital marketing space, if somebody wants some digital marketing plan to be made, and then if they give you sufficient time where you are able to do it at your own leisurely pace, you will be okay with a reasonable price tag. But then if I come and pressure you and say that, Rahul, I need this done tonight because I have a big meeting tomorrow and I need to present this to my client, then you are going to be like, okay, I'm going to charge you double.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? And if I'm okay with that, at least you will not end up regretting this transaction or this contract.
Yeah.
Right? And that is what I always say. There is always the payment terms and how I pay you. See, if I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to need this work to be done tonight, I'm going to ask for 20% discount and I'm going to pay you after 60 days. It's a completely shitty deal for you.
Yeah.
Because all three things I have taken away and you have nothing in your power, right?
Yeah.
And that's a shitty deal. You should never be in a shitty deal, and that is something, if you are in a shitty deal, you will end up regretting.
I'll not do a good job. That's the.
Exactly.
Which is bad for me. for my
And why
business.
would people take those kind of shitty deals? I'm not saying that I have not done that. Even I have done that. I have regretted it, because these were the times where there was probably no orders, and we have all done that. We have all agreed to corporate bulldozing, where big companies come and say that, okay, I need this product, I will pay you after 60 days. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And we've all done that. And we've all regretted it.
When the client goes beyond the threshold in terms of price, what I say is, I actually tell them openly, if I do below this, I will not be doing a 100% wholehearted effort. I'm a person who will do it with my heart and passion. If you don't want that, we can sign it. But even if you want to sign, I am not ready to do it, because I value my job and I will not be able to do this, because even if I agree to it, I know at the back of mind I had a bad deal and you will not get the best from me. So let's not do this deal.
Right.
That's how I'll finish it off.
Precisely.
Another thing I want to discuss about is everyday like employed salesperson or some salesperson who has been working in a target basis. I've never encountered any person who is happy with their job. I don't know, maybe I have not encountered someone who is so passionate, maybe one or two here and there. But in general, each and every person are like, I'm not happy with the job, or like the target is too strict and I'm not able to achieve. This is the case predominantly. And I want to know about the 50 people who worked in your team. And is that the same case, or like how about your experience with normal day-to-day salesperson?
See, what happens with most salespeople is that, when they are driven by a particular target, it's a monthly target that most teams have, right? It could be a manufactured product, it could be a traded product, it could be straightforward, just selling anything. It could be selling insurance, it could be selling real estate, it could be selling industrial chemicals, it could be anything. Any person who has a target on their head, and this is something that most salespeople go through, is that they are generally not able to consistently achieve these numbers, which is one of the very important reason why they get demotivated. Primarily because their bosses will start questioning them, like, last month you did a good number, this month you have not been able to do. What is the reason? Why are you not able to do that? And another thing, the people who actually consistently perform, even for them, they many times they get promoted.
Yeah.
So from a sales executive, they become a sales manager. And the kind of effort that guy was putting and getting good results as when he was a sales executive, even if he does the same thing here, as a sales manager, he'll be a failure.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing the same numbers. And his boss, who might be the general manager, is always going to say, I gave you a promotion and I expect your team to perform. So that's when, people have to really look at how to make other people work for them. When you become a manager, you expect 5 people, 10 people who are reporting to you, you need to make them work, right? So this is the kind of thing. So the challenges faced by any salesperson, multifold really. One is regular follow-ups with clients. Sometimes, your regular follow-up does not yield any kind of results. Your boss is starting to put pressure on you. You are probably going back to the old sales that you have done, trying to collect payment. Because that is something that happens all the time. Because any company will say, you got the order, you make sure you collect the payment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is something that they have to follow up on. Collections is a major stumbling thing. Because when you're in a capital market, when you're looking at capital equipments market, people will not pay immediately. They'll say, okay, give me 10 days, give me 15 days, I'll pay you after 1 month. And this is something that happens everywhere. So payment collection is another one. Making sure people under you, the people who are reporting to you, they should also be in a position. You have to motivate them, you have to get them onto the next level. So it's a multifold challenge, really. They have so many things. And on top of it, they generally don't have anybody to speak to.
Other than achieving the target.
Exactly. Most of the times you notice that the entrepreneurs or the business owners or the sales managers or the general managers, they will speak to the sales team probably once in a week, right? It happens only once in a week. It happens, or probably in some organizations it's only once in a month during the review meeting, especially when you are out of town. Because when in our company back then, we used to have 5 different branches, 10 different branches, all based in different cities. So you are obviously not seeing them on a day-to-day basis. So you generally meet them only once in a month. So they really don't have a place to bond with. Or like we were talking in the first episode, we were speaking about what got us together. We were saying that, there was a shared passion for sales. So these guys also have a shared passion for sales, but where do they actually bond with similar like-minded people apart from their own colleagues? See, your colleagues or your bosses, they are only going to be talking about
Numbers.
Numbers and what you have done this month, why have you not achieved your targets and so on. But then what are the other things that they can do? And they really don't have a platform, right? And I think what we're trying to build here, which is the FreshOx community, the sales community that we're trying to build here, will be that alternative for people to come together and be part of something bigger. See, what are we trying to give them? As people who have been in this, there is going to be a family environment. People in the same. It's not only the same industry; it's multiple industries.
Yeah.
But everybody comes together with the shared passion of being interested in sales. And there will be one-on-one mentoring. There'll be group, one to many batches of training. That is something that we are very passionate about. And, giving them opportunities to further make money through the same contacts that they have.
Yeah.
See, like, many times what happens is like these guys, when they're working for a company, there is only one product to be sold. And once that client, because I was giving you the example earlier, my first client is still my best client because it's not that I'm selling him the same product again and again. I am actually happy with that client and the client is happy with me because he will buy whatever I sell. But for me to sell whatever I want, apart from the product that my company is giving me, I should have access. Fortunately, I am, I am in a place where I can do that. But what about everybody else? See, when they are selling this glass as one item, that company that they are employed with is having only one product to sell. But then the client may also need, a plate, may also need some cutlery. So these are all additional products that you can sell to the same client because you know the client very well. So where do they get these kind of opportunities? So our community will have such kind of opportunities where, they can, I wouldn't really call it moonlighting, but, without compromising on ethics, if you are able to talk to your client and sell them something more, right? And make some money along the way, what is wrong?
Like for normal people, like everyday salesperson, I have seen most of people,
They
like,
complain
okay,
about
is this
they're
the-
not able to meet targets.
Yeah, the next ladder or the
Okay.
growth aspect.
So when you were speaking, I just wrote down whatever I have to say. The first thing is, if you do not enjoy the process of sales, you will suck at it. So the first thing is, you have to enjoy sales. That's it. And are you seeing the pain of not meeting the target, or are you seeing the profit you will make as an incentive being a salesman when you do the sale? What are you looking at? The same concept, like half filled or half thing. What are you looking at? Because your mind is very powerful. Your eyes will see only what your mind thinks. If you are going to say, oh, I have to finish off, 10 sales, and if you're sulking saying that, I don't know how to do it, my manager is going to do this, that, and stuff, trust me, the chances of you getting those 10 sales is less. But whereas, if you look at it, they are giving me 10. Always tell your mind, if they are saying 10, I will achieve 50. You keep your own target, their target becomes a miniature one, and now you're not working for their target, you're already working for my own target, and you look at 15, what is the profit I will make? Sales is all about numbers and profit. If you see that, nothing else will drive you better than your own mind. This is one thing that I would like to tell. When you are finding it tough, it means you are in a bad frame of mind. Tell your mind to see the profit. Because as a salesperson, you cannot afford to have a bad day. Because it's not only you suffering, it's the entire bloody company that is going to suffer because of sales. And salesmen are not ordinary people, they are supermen. Like you are the person who's driving the economy of that entire company. So you are the one who's actually going to feed even your boss. These are superpowers. If you believe in it, you will not afford to have a bad day. Look at the profit, not the pain, and keep a higher target than what is set, so that you're not working for their target, you're now working for your target and your profit. The last thing is, he touched upon it. What it is, if you're passionate about sales, right from your college days, or you're just a recent graduate, it means you have the entrepreneur mindset. To be an entrepreneur, you need not start a company or own a stake in the company. But if you're a salesperson, if your sales job is incentivized for the sales you give, you are actually an entrepreneur because you get a part of the revenue. You're not working for a fixed salary. You're not selling your time alone. You're selling or you're leveraging your expertise of sales where you get more. That's what businesses do. That's what entrepreneurs do. So if you're a salesperson, apart from that profit that I wanted to look, tell yourself that you're an entrepreneur. You're not an employee. Because if you're an employee, you will see the pain.
Yeah.
You will complain about the manager. Even though you're an employee, but if yours is incentivized, you tell yourself, I am an entrepreneur. I am doing this because one day I have to do this. You're already an entrepreneur. You're just undergoing the training process.
Basically, if I can sell someone else's product, then
So you tell yourself that I am an entrepreneur. I am doing it for myself. I am doing it with a higher target. I am looking at the profit. Then the problem, it's just a perceived problem. Sales is, it has to happen. It will happen. How it happens is what we are trying to do as sales people, right? It will happen, but the process is very, 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 very important. It will eventually happen, but you won't enjoy it. So have that entrepreneur mindset. And as I said, at FreshOx, that's the only thing that we want to tell people. You can be employed. For them, it's an employment. But for me, I'm an entrepreneur already. That's why we call it salespreneurs. And when we ideated, this is the mindset that I always had. So when I said that, we wanted to create that on-demand sales community, I don't think any other community or anyone will have this thought, because I see every salesperson as an entrepreneur. So even when we create a community, I thought it should be an on-demand thing, because I don't want sales employees. A salesperson can never be an employee. If you're an employee, you can't be a salesperson, right? In your mind. We want salespreneurs. So the whole idea is to empower them. I mean, they are already good. They already do the stuff. Someone has to tell them that you are good. That's what we are going to do, and someone has to show the path on how to do. That's what we will do at FreshOx. The other thing, okay, this will sound motivating. This will sound all easy busy, right? To whoever is watching and still saying, when you come to ground zero and try and do it, that's when you will understand. So I've been in this situation where you're trying too hard, things are not happening, okay? When you're trying too hard, when you have this entrepreneur mindset, due to external reasons, right? The market is not good. Say for example, December, people don't do anything towards the end, especially if you're a European or a US based salesperson, nothing happens yet. And even for us, this real estate, there's this Tamil month, Magali, right? Nothing happens. Well, people don't buy it, something like that.
Yeah.
So if you're not able to meet it even after a mindset, it's time you re-strategize. You already have 1 or 2 or 3 strategies which is working well for you, and you follow it every day, disciplined way, and you keep improvising it. But if that doesn't happen, you go back to your data. That's why I say you have to note in terms what worked well, what didn't work well, and you will find a pattern. Now is the time to reiterate or revise a new strategy, because it's not your problem. If you have the entrepreneur mindset, positive mindset, and you're seeing the profit and still not working, it's because the external location, the external circumstances are not good, and you need a good strategy. And you look at it as an opportunity to learn and come up, with a better strategy. Okay. To all the people who are struggling, these are the things that I will do if I'm struggling, and which are the things that I did previously as well.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked the episode. I'm not sure what the next episode is going to be. If you have some questions, let me know in the comment section. And if you are a salesperson and have some trouble, if you want some help, comment that as well. SSR will help you on that. I will see you in the next episode. See you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Hope you guys have fun.